One of the more popular questions that I've been getting lately is between the LG C2 to the left and the LG C1 to the right, which one would I go with? So today I'll be giving you that answer, so smack a like on this video for just getting to the point. The short answer, I would go with the LG C1. Do not miss out on these awesome sales, guys. It's totally not worth the extra hundreds of dollars you're going to spend on the C2. The C1 is still the bee's knees. There you go. That's the honest answer. Now, why? It's very difficult to give you something that you can replicate, but this will essentially do that for you. So this video is called K-Max intermeshing rotors, helicopters, whatever, startup and takeoff, okay? I will try to link it down below so that you guys can replicate this on your televisions. Essentially, when you look at the LG C2 and you look at the LG C1, the motion is far better on the C1 with far less artifacting, meaning processing of imagery is better. Anytime there's something that intersects, like geometry, so I say that a lot, it's very complicated for some people, not to be rude or anything, of course, but what I mean by that is when I say like complex geometry, I'm talking about like you're in a car and you're driving past a fence. The C2 is going to show a ton more artifacting. You're looking at maybe rocks fall off of a mountainside. It's going to look worse on the C2. Kind of getting the theme here, like anytime there's a bunch of particles or geometry that move in clusters together, the C2 is just going to perform worse than the C1. Now, I'm not just going to claim this, I'm going to show you this. Now, I want you to pay close attention to the helicopter blades. As it starts to spin, you are going to notice that it is going to show way more artifacts on the LG C2 to the left. Now, it's kind of difficult to show this kind of thing off on camera, so what I'll try to do also, I'll try to even lower my ISO even further to make everything super clear. Okay, this is something I hope you see on YouTube. You may or may not. But as you look, the artifacts, slow down the video right now. At this point in the video, slow it down, and YouTube's, little slowdown thing, you'll see the C2 is a freaking mess. Tons and tons more artifacts. It's day and night. It really is. There's a lot of artifacting on the C2, and it's bad, guys. It's really bad. Now, the C1's still having some artifacts as well of their own, but it's nothing like the C2, which basically is pretty uncontrollable at this point, and that's the idea here. This kind of geometry is really not doing the C2 any favors whatsoever, and it's tests like these that kind of prove my point. And I like to do like little pause frames as well, so you can kind of see, like, even when frames are paused on again the same kind of scene, you can just see the C1 is clearer, right? If you really pixel peep, I know it's kind of a stretch for some people, normal people will not be doing this, right? But I'll point out how I find out what TV is better for motion, okay? So if you look here, you'll notice this trail is, while motion blurring, it's cleaner. It's like more of a solid line, it's clear. This is more of a streaking, smearing effect. That's because the motion is trailing a lot longer here than it is on the C1 over here. These little differences add up to very big real-world experiences. You can do the same thing with the blade at the top here. You can see the smearing trail, where this is not as prominent. Noticing and figuring out how to notice where motion is trailing and smearing will tell you what your experience is going to be like in really fast-paced action scenes. That's why I like using things like helicopter blades to assess whether or not something is motion smearing. It is a very easy thing to see when you have two things going at the same time to figure out which one is motion blurring and all that stuff. But again, the motion processing is just better on the C1. And I think, again, that's really the takeaway here. So not to play too much of this individual's video, you get the idea, and you will be able to replicate it down below if you so choose to. But the message is very simple. The C1 not only has more natural color / more realistic color, but it also doesn't have as aggressive ABL or automatic brightness limiter. And in addition to that, it's better at motion processing and fine detail like contrast rendering, which is very weird. Like, again, I've been sitting for a few days now going back and forth between both of these models, and that is definitive across the board. If I had to do it all over again, I would pick the LG C1. That isn't justifying a purchase or anything, guys. That's just the truth. Now, you can ignore everything I say and listen to my dissenters or hecklers or whoever comes up and says something contrary. That's ultimately your business. But if you want the information, you want the truth, the C1 is definitively better in very key areas, and I just don't see spending hundreds more dollars for the C2 because the C2 at this point isn't worth it. Yeah, maybe down the road it will get a patch and that might be changed, but right now, guys, like, come on. Like, it's common sense at this point. Save yourself the hundreds of dollars, get the better processing, get the better experience that's already buttoned up and ready to go. The LG C2 to the right is going to be my winner, and overall, should you buy the LG C1 or C2, that's why I say buy the C1, because the C2 just isn't there, and I don't even know if it could get there with the processing part. Keep in mind, they are running two entirely different processors, and sometimes that just means that performance is going to be worse. Sometimes they get a little ambitious and they don't really button things up. We've seen this with Sony's processors since like the X1 Extreme chip even, and it's still something that plagues them to this day. So don't think that this is something that a patch can fix everything. Patches are not miracle workers or cure-alls for hardware limitations or issues that might be happening as a result of something new that they implemented. That being said, I really hope this video can help you guys out. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty, and until the next video, I'll see you guys later.